Hi, I'm Drew, a drag queen living in LA with my husband Curtis, my dog JB, and, you know.
Yeah, good one, brother. I'm Grant. I live in Florida with my wife and 4 kids and a couple of dogs. And I'm a former pastor, and this is what my voice sounds like now.
Yeah, we're 41.
Sorry.
Your voice changes again later in life. You don't realize that. It does.
A lot of people have asked us about Michael Tate, so we talk about that, and it's a barrel of laughs.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Talking
It's a
about that fella.
bummer. But
It's a real
don't worry.
bummer.
We start with a uplifting, heart-loving, happy story about JB breaking her tooth and having emergency surgery today.
Ugh.
And now I can't pay rent. All right. Enjoy the show. Our God is an
try
awesome
to.
God. What the fuck? Why did you do this to
is
me?
Going on.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I'm gay.
And I'm Grant, and I'm not. But I do have a cool new voice. Do you like
What
it?
happened? Did you go rock?
We're
Camp Rock?
41, and I lost my voice over the weekend. Just partying hard for 41. But
I think you, because of your past, because you didn't get to have like a 20s or even a 30s, I think it's nice that for your 41st birthday, you decided to like go be party because you didn't get to
Yeah.
do that. So I think that's great. But
yeah,
you will be miserable for a lot longer right after than all of the children that were also partying that night.
I did do drinks. I did go to places with fun people and do all kinds of fun things.
That's nice.
And I'm very tired. It's been a couple of days, and I'm still very tired. So I 41's too hard. So Drew, but I know that this might be hard to listen to, this voice that I have. So
Okay.
I have a solution, which is I downloaded a text to speech app.
Okay.
And I'm going to type what I want to say into it. And I know it could take time, but I think I can edit out the gaps and it'll be really natural. This app actually gives me Gwyneth Paltrow's voice.
Goop.
So there's a lot of choices for celebrity voices, like Mr. Beast and Snoop Dogg and whatever. And that it felt like cultural appropriation. So I'm going to use Gwyneth
Mr.
Paltrow.
Beast? You thought Mr. Beast was cultural appropriation?
It was cultural appropriation.
Because you can't lock poor people inside airplanes?
I've tried. God,
I know,
have I
you're
tried.
so bad at it.
I'm just going to use this, but I don't have enough money for the premium version. So it is free, but it has ads. So I'm going to I don't know how many they'll pop in, but I'm going to just tell you about my weekend, but I'm going to let Gwyneth Paltrow do it because it'll be easier to listen to.
Poog, yes.
Here we go. Okay.
So this weekend, Angela and I went out of town and...
Time for an ad. Pray Away Scented Candles. Tired of those stubborn same-sex urges lingering in your home like yesterday's bathhouse sweat? Introducing Pray Away, the only scented candle with clinically unproven Holy Spirit infusion.
Wow.
Smells like cedarwood and shame. Try our newest scents, Youth Pastor Leather, Missionary Position, and Burning Bush. Just light the wick, clutch your purity ring, and watch your grinder urges melt like your relationship with your parents. So pick up some Pray Away scented candles. Light it up, and the gay just goes away.
Okay, so
That ad felt very targeted.
It was, and it's algorithms, it's AI, it's meta, it's all those things. So
So you've been looking up
sorry.
that kind of stuff.
I don't think I've been looking. I think it's kind of in our ballpark as Twinnuendo. I think that's what's going on.
Sure.
So I'm gonna, I'm gonna try again. I'm sorry. I don't have the money to get the premium. But here we go. It's gonna be okay. Let's one more time. Here we go.
So this weekend, Angela and I went out of town and...
Ad time, bitches. Bottoms for Christ protein powder. Got a Bible fest in the morning and a bang fest by noon? You need Bottoms for Christ, a high-fiber, wholly approved protein powder designed for power bottom endurance and praise break recovery. Infused with electrolytes and the blood of Christ, this blessed blend keeps you hydrated while you take communion. And Carl, that's Bottoms for Christ protein powder. Because even the meek need strong glutes.
Maybe I'll just buy the premium version.
I've never had sex with a Carl knowingly. Not interesting. I don't listen.
Can I
I'm
just
not
try
going to rule
one-
it out. It
I
might
want
have
to try
happened.
one more time. I really like Gwyneth
Sure. No.
Paltrow's
This
voice.
is worth it because I know the story is just going to be so interesting. So I'm in it.
It is really good. So again, okay.
So this weekend, Angela and I went out of town and
Fuck you! Here's another ad. Pure Flix After Dark. From the streaming service that brought you God's Not Dead and God's Not Dead 2 and God's Not Dead 3 and God's Not Dead 4 and God's Not Dead 5 comes the new late night lineup you definitely weren't supposed to watch at Bible camp. Featuring hit adult-themed Christian movies like Touched by a Step Angel and Left Behind, Then Pegged. So check out Pure Flix After Dark, where the Lord meets lust.
I'm not super familiar with those films, but I do think Left Behind, Then Pegged
Grant,
might be good.
listen. For you personally, I agree. Grant, listen. I support you. I don't understand your lifestyle, but
Yeah, sure.
I support your right to find things funny. Just don't force it on me. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
I think that was a strong bit to start with.
It was long.
I want to say I'll go back to my regular voice. We don't have to do the AI voice, but I think it was a strong bit. I stand by it.
And I want you to
I
stand
stand
by
by
it.
it.
I think if anyone should have to
I want you to stand
endure
by it. I'm gonna put your name on
No,
it too.
Grant, listen, I'm sorry. I wasn't available for your hilarious long bit, okay? Because JB had to have emergency surgery today. And I don't think
What
Alexis
happened?
is going to be able to eat this month because I took what she gets paid and I paid the doctor.
Why? What
My dog's an
happened?
idiot.
What-
Okay. And we all know that.
Oh,
She's not known for
okay.
being super smart.
she's so pretty though.
She's so pretty. She loves
So
to
pretty.
eat things off the ground. And have I caught her picking up a rock off the ground to put into her mouth and chew? Yeah. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Did I recently notice that happening? Unfortunately not, but something happened and she chipped her big tooth. Her big, the big.
Oh, the big ones.
Yeah. She's older, but we take really good care of her teeth. So it's kind of shocking to me as an aside to myself. We noticed she wasn't eating her toothbrush in the morning and she loves her toothbrush. So
Yeah.
what
do you mean she has a toothbrush? What is it?
it's like I don't know the name, Fresh Kisses or something. It's like a greenie basically, but it's like better.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, she wasn't eating it. We noticed she chipped her tooth, so we took her in to the vet today. And of course, it had to be an emergency situation. And she had to have surgery. And because the tooth is so big, they had to pull part of her gum over the hole so she wouldn't get infected. And it was just like a whole thing. Anyway, $2,000.
Oh my God.
And we told them ahead of time, don't use anesthesia or pain meds on her. They're too expensive. Just let her feel it. And I'm going to be honest with you, Grant. I saw the anesthesia and the pain meds on the receipt. I think they gave them to her.
Yeah.
In fact, I know they
Yeah.
gave them to her because she has done nothing but stare at the wall since she's been home. She just walks into a room and
Yeah.
she'll go, and then she sits down. Curtis tried to put her on the bed, but he only got her front 2 feet on the bed and he's holding her back feet. And
Yeah.
it's like, go ahead. And instead of going ahead, she sat down in his hands because she thought she was already on the bed. She is so fucked up.
That's amazing.
Y'all, my cameos are on. So if anyone needs a cameo, I have got to pay this bill. So, and my cameos are so good. Okay. I have broken up with people.
Yeah.
I have proposed. I've broken up with people who tried to propose. I've done it all. So let me know. And I'm willing to talk shit about anyone, really. I have no loyalties when it comes to paying a bill.
Money.
So you just let me know. I can't wait to fulfill your needs.
As we've expressed from the free version of the text to speech and that now classic Twinnuendo bit. I don't have money to give you, but
I
do
know.
have my
I know that.
thoughts and my prayers. I have thoughts and prayers, and you can have all of them right now. I'm sending them to you.
Can I have some of that Twinnuendo Patreon money?
I mean, I guess there's nothing. I can't stop you.
You would.
That would be funny, though.
You would send me pictures of the kids with empty plates. I know you would.
I don't know.
Anyway, so
I
she's
don't
doing
know.
fine now. She's just fucked up, and so is
sorry.
my ability to pay
Bank
for
account.
things. Well, because it's our birthday month, and because we just had our birthday,
Yes,
I
we did.
not go out and party because I had my 20s available to me. So instead,
Mine were given to the Lord.
I went to the mall.
So I will get them back when I die.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing your reaction to that. I'll be in hell, so if you can look down and show me your reaction, that would be nice.
I don't want to.
Anyway, on my birthday, not yours, on my birthday, I went to a mall. I went to the Century City Mall. I'd never been.
Oh.
I had a blast. I will say, everyone's like, it's the nicest mall. You have to go to the Century City Mall. It's the nicest mall. And I'm like, okay, I'm going. It's an outdoor mall, which it was like 75 degrees and sunny. It was beautiful.
Brad.
House ever. It's like a high-end mall. So
Oh,
there was no Miniso. There was like, I wanted to go into like a perfume shop, and not like a brand's perfume store, not like Chanel perfume.
right.
I wanted to go into smells and things, and I just wanted to spray everything and try all this different stuff because I'm trying to find a signature scent. Anyway, so I did have fun because it was a mall and we were outside, but I did miss. Anyway, all that to say, what were we talking about?
did you get some of the anesthesia?
I don't know, Grant.
Oh my God. So Drew, you said you're looking for your signature scent.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I almost sent you for our birthday? Can you guess?
Michael Jordan cologne.
Signature scent? No.
Polo.
I can't believe you're not
White
there
diamonds?
already. Yep. I was going to send you polo.
Okay.
I was going to send
That's
you
an
the
attack.
green.
That's an attack. That's a
polo.
personal attack on me because that is our father's scent. I would not turn down a white diamonds in the future, Grant. If you want to put that down anywhere, I would not turn away a white diamonds.
The polo, the green polo bottle. If anyone wants to smell our father,
Who art on earth
smell
still.
that. Her still on
Yeah,
earth.
go ahead and smell
Please,
that.
go buy some of that.
Our mom was a white diamonds girly, but I'm convinced she didn't like it. I'm convinced Dad was convinced that she liked it because whenever she bought herself perfume, it was never white diamonds.
Scandal, you dropped it here first. I don't remember Mom's scent, but I remember the polo green so strongly
Because he bathed in it.
And
He had like, y'all, I'm
He
not
did.
talking about the tiny one. Like he had a liter of polo, and what he would do.
Yeah, a polo representative would drop it off at our house.
Basically,
that's how much he would buy. It'd be like a
after
truck.
he would shave, and he shaved every morning, which is bonkers to me. He would shave and then he used aftershave, but what he would do is he would pour just like a huge handful of polo and mix it in.
It would
and then just
pool
rub
in his
it.
hand.
It would pool, yeah, and he would just rub it all up and down his face and neck and arms.
Yeah.
It was wild. And he was also, sorry, you can't bring up Dad without setting me off, but he was also the person who was so particular about other people's smells.
And sensitive to scents.
smells. And would
Yeah.
be so upset if someone's cologne was too strong. Sir, you live in the green bottle. You are I Dream of Jeannie. You're stuck in the bottle. Honestly, let's send you out to sea, in my opinion. But it just, God, what a dick.
It'd be polluting the sea.
He didn't even call me on my
when,
birthday. Not weird.
You know what? He called me twice.
That
on our
works.
Birthday.
That works.
Do you think he thought he was calling you? Do you think that's what it was? Probably. I did not answer.
Either time?
So instead of a text, I got no. And I got an email from him instead of a text that said, I must be busy. And he just wanted to wish me a happy birthday. So I got it.
What
I
a
got his
joy.
email. What email did you get?
You know what? Let me check it. I bet I did.
I was going
You
to
don't
tell
know
you
that. He could have
that-
changed his mind and started loving me. You have no idea. Hang on. Wait.
Okay, true.
Everyone, let's do this live. Okay, with bated breath. I checked to see if my dad emailed me.
to your AOL. That's the only one he has. Use stinkypete1 at AOL.com.
Oh, no. USTKP1 at AOL.com used to be my email. That, you know what,
I put that
dear
out
reader,
a lot of people reading the podcast.
I don't want to do
lately.
this right now. My email's being, you know what it is? My email's being weird. That's what it is. My email's being so weird. I just need to,
What would have been more fucked up is if it actually was in there. Then that would truly derail this whole podcast.
no, it wouldn't.
So,
I did get a text from our mother because she has my phone number again. And she sent me money,
How'd
which
she
I'm
do
just
that?
figuring out if I accept or not. Although now that JB,
you have
I
to
know.
pay for this dog.
Actually, yeah, I probably will accept it. No, I was just, last week, I was thinking, it says to myself, Drew, this is what it says to myself. Your birthday's coming up, big guy. And I'm trying to be more supportive of myself and my thoughts. Your birthday's
Yeah,
coming
you've been
up,
saying
big
big guy a
guy. And, you know, your mom likes to reach out, big guy. Be careful there, big guy. And so
Big guy.
and then I remembered that, like, yeah, it was last year, my birthday. She sent me an email, and then I sent her an email that I remember. Did I tell this story already?
I don't know, and judging by how it's going so far, they don't remember it.
Did I?
No, you didn't. We talked on
okay.
the phone. Is that what you're confusing? It's phone calls and podcasts. They both start with P.
Did we talk about it in the part 2 of the voicemail or of the live talking to people? Okay,
No.
okay. Because
No, we
maybe I
didn't.
talked about it on IMHO, the podcast. I don't know. Okay, I'm telling it again.
I've got to check that out. Who is on that?
Me and I guess whoever's just in the studio at the time. Okay, so
No co-host.
actually,
Weird.
I was like, okay, I sent her that email. I can't remember exactly what I said, but like, let me read it back. I read it back and I remembered saying something like, get into therapy and then we can talk. You know, was what I was basically saying. But I read it back and I was a lot more curt and short with her than I remembered.
Well, that's what confused her. You signed the email Kurt, and she did not know who that was. And she says, have I abandoned a
Well,
Kurt?
I am married to a
And it
Kurt,
was
so
you.
I would hope she would think it was him.
Oh,
yeah, you
Kurt
really
Dirt.
need to get to know my husband. It's weird.
Dirty
Anyway,
Curdy.
so, and I want to say this, it's not my responsibility to hold her hand through this, but I know that,
mine.
well, and you're not doing it. So
She's really far away.
I was like, you know what? I want her to get into therapy. I know Grant has found her therapists, and this email doesn't exactly explain to her like how important it actually is and that this is a solution to this problem. I was like, well, let me just call her. I was in a good mood. I was in like a mental health fine day. Like, let me just call her
You got your medication back. That's what
before
happened.
she tries to contact me again without having done anything I asked her to do. So I just called her and we talked for like 20 minutes. It was fine. I just explained to her like, yeah, getting in therapy is really difficult. Getting in therapy is hard. And, you know, I'm 3 months out of my own, like getting out of like trying to find a therapist. And it's just, even though I see the benefit of it and I know how much it helps me, it's really hard to get into. And then to be in your 70s being told to go do this and not fully understanding it, it must feel, and not having any access to your emotions in any significant way. It must be a lot for her to like handle. And having like a curt short email is not going to do it. You know? So I just let her know that like, I'm not angry at her. I don't think she's a bad person. I know that she has seen clips of Twinnuendo and I know her reaction to them haven't been great. And I told her,
Well, she comments on everything, and Paola's pretty good about taking it down
thank you
pretty
so
quickly.
much.
But
Thank you, Paola.
then she texts us with them, so I don't know why she takes it down.
Yeah. So
anyway.
and thank you, Grant. Please insert yourself further into this if you'd like. I'm just trying to share a really raw
Yeah, I'm
emotional
here.
moment.
That's what I'm here for. I like those jackets behind
Thank you.
Pretty cool.
So this is Piper's.
Oh, she's gonna love it. Hold it
Anyway,
time.
so I was just like, hey, listen, I know it's hard. I'm not mad at you. I'm genuinely just processing what's happening, and I'd love to process it with you instead of the internet, but you won't go to therapy. So I feel like you don't have the tools to have that conversation with me. And I would just talk at you. She was like, well, I just don't understand like why I need to go to therapy. Why do I have to go to therapy?
That's a
It really
dead
is.
on, Mom.
Thank you.
Great job.
And well, I just heard her voice. And I was like, Mom, 30 seconds ago, you said, well, you know, like you and I, we both have our own things. We both have, we both have our own issues. I was like, so you just admitted that. You said that yourself. And now you're saying, but I don't see why I need to go to therapy because you have issues. You just said it, It took a while, but I want to celebrate. Number one, I do think she heard me. I don't know that that's going to make any difference to her. That might be the last time we ever talk. She may never do it. But I do think in that moment, she heard me. And I feel good that I called her, haven't talked to her in like 2 years. I called her and was calm and friendly. I held my tongue. I had like the goal of getting her into therapy. So like, what do I need to do to make that happen? And again, like anyone who's listening, who's going through whatever they're going through with their parents, you do not owe them this at all. I didn't even owe her the email I sent her last year, but I recognize that she genuinely can't. Her ability to think through and talk through her emotions are at nothing. I really do want a relationship with her. So I felt like I haven't talked to her in a couple years. I was feeling better and more like capable. So it's a choice I made to hopefully bring her back into my life in a healthy way. I even gave her because I believe in positive reinforcement over punishment. I even gave her hey, why don't you call and set up a consultation? And after the consultation, give me a call and tell me what you thought, and then we can start scheduling phone calls. And that was over a week ago and I haven't heard anything from her. So it's not looking good. I don't know that she'll actually do it.
She has had my kids.
Oh, I forgot your kids are up there with her. Yeah, that's true.
So she's a little.
Yeah.
She sent us a picture today. She brought the kids to Zaxby's and Whit didn't want to be there. So he was standing by the trash can in the corner of the room, glaring at her with his arms crossed.
That sounds about right.
That's how her week has been going.
Well,
so, yeah,
okay, I guess I understand
maybe
that.
Better,
yeah.
Maybe better next week.
But I feel...
So we'll see.
I feel really good about the decision. I am not to blame for any of this as far as having to have cut her off a third or fourth time. I honestly believe I've told her enough what I require from her, but I feel like I have better tools I have a different understanding of Mom, I think, now. As I become more confident in myself and have worked through even just talking through everything with you on this show, as much as we get the Twinnuendo has changed my life, emails and stuff, which are so exciting and nice to receive.
Yeah. And obviously AI generated.
Completely.
I don't know.
Completely. They have 6 fingers. I do believe Twinnuendo has changed my life too, because the further I get away from her, the more my brain creates this character of who she is.
Yeah.
Instead of her just doing what she always does and just avoiding emotions altogether and being like, okay, I'll do it, just not right now. I'll do it right now. In my head, she's like, I have all the numbers. I could call a therapist right now and I could talk to my son, but I don't want to. I'm not going. You know what I mean? I create.
You made her dad.
Yeah. And you know what? Accomplice is sometimes as hard to deal with, if not more, than the actual perpetrator.
Sure.
And I think just hearing your perspective and hearing your conversations with her and trying to unpack anything from our childhood, it made it very clear to me that she does need handholding. She does need help to get help. And at this point, it is still worth it to me to do that. So I'm glad I did. But I don't want anyone who's going through something similar to be like, oh, am I doing the same thing? Or, should I call my mom? Don't unless you feel totally safe in doing it yourself, don't do it. I was just in a good place to do it.
Unless if it is a bad situation, but it could be a funny story that you could call us on a voicemail and tell us.
Yes.
Then you should do it.
That would be funny.
Like, we need content.
Yeah.
Well, Drew, I'm excited to potentially one day have Christmas with you again.
No.
Because Mom took it away. She said we can't do it.
Honestly, Grant, I don't want to.
Oh, great. I'm really glad that you brought us to such a serious place.
Hell
because
yeah,
it
brother.
leads us to what we want to talk about today. I hope that we got a lot of giggles out of the first part of this, because I don't know how many giggles are to be had as we talk about our topic today. But here we are on Patreon specifically, but we've also had some social media DMs and comments. People have been asking us to talk more about what's happening with a Christian music artist named Michael Tate, who has been in the news a lot lately.
Yikes.
And so I know there are people who aren't familiar with him at all. There's some people who are familiar with him, but they don't know exactly what's happened and what's happening. And so I looked into all of that. And I think as we talk about what he's been accused of and the response to all of it, I think it also reveals the classic evangelical response to like sexual scandals. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to talk about. And if anyone can make a sexual abuse funny, it's you, brother. And so
my God, thank you
I can't think
so
of a
much.
better person to talk to about it.
I
So
found my
Drew,
own molesters, okay? Because I'm strong.
Congratulations. Drew, Michael Tate, he's a Christian music icon, also a huge Trump supporter, by the way, huge. Been to the White House, performed at Trump rallies.
No one's done more for the
really-
blacks than Trump.
Michael Tate happens to be black. Thank you for pointing that out. So, Drew, when you think of Michael Tate, what do you think of as a
DC
music
Talk,
artist? Who is he?
obviously.
Down with the DC Talk.
Yeah.
In 1987, he was at Liberty University with the other two members of DC Talk, and they founded DC Talk then.
What a joy.
Do you know the other two members?
Ronnie.
There's Ronnie, of course. Big Ronnie, as they call
Big
him.
Ronnie. And Medium Ted.
And just Medium Ted. Forgettable Medium Ted. Drew, Toby Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's a shitty white rapper, Toby Mac, and Kevin Max, who was always my favorite. Do you remember
That
him?
sounds like a made-up name. Hey,
He had
guys,
the
I'm Kevin
weird
Max.
vocals.
I'm here to tell you about the Lord. I'm Kevin Max.
Oh, just old Kev. Okay, but what songs come to mind?
I mean, Jesus Freak, obviously. What? Oh. Can I tell you, we had the DC Talk Jesus Freak album thing. It was like more than just the album. It came with like, oh God. It was like a big book. So like...
Okay, you're combining two things. But I know what you're talking about. So there was the album. That album was hugely successful. They never had success like that again. It was on MTV. It won all these awards. It was up for Grammys. It was a big, big deal. Many years later, actually after the Columbine shooting. If you guys remember the Columbine shooting, there was this apocryphal story of the shooter asking a girl, "Do you believe in God?" And she said yes, and they shot her. And that's what one of the survivors said. And then later the survivor said that actually never happened. Do you remember they wrote a book about her that was called She Said Yes? And Michael W. Smith wrote a song.
And then ran over his daughter.
God, what was the song
Was that
called?
him?
No, that was Stephen Curtis Chapman.
There's so many
But
three
Michael W.
words.
Smith...
Pick two names.
He
You're
ran
not a
over-
serial killer.
He has run over daughters, but not his own. It was this big deal. And after it came out as a hoax, it didn't stop them from selling those books and still telling that story, by the way. But after that, Christians always have a big martyr complex. And so Drew is right. There's this giant book. So go ahead. There's this book called Jesus Freaks that came out.
Yeah, and it was like haunting. It was...
It
It
really
was. It was because
It was,
there was a
yeah.
version. I remember it was like basically it was martyrs. It was just a story story of Christians who have been killed. Nothing gets a Christian.
Like Reader's Digest forms, like 4 or 5 pages of the most grotesque torturing and death for teenagers to read. But go ahead.
And not just to read, but to hope happens to them one day. It's like everyone's dream is to be a martyr. I do remember thinking, I'm gay and I'm doing gay stuff. So I'm definitely not going to heaven. But if I die for him, I bet he'd look past it.
Yeah.
There were moments where I'd think like, I probably would say yes so I could die because then I would definitely go to heaven.
I thought the same thing because I was like, I'm looking at porn all the fucking time.
Yeah, but you were looking at looking at
hog.
porn that Jesus probably would have been super into.
Yeah, but it didn't matter because the church told me like he's gonna kink shame me and send me to hell. So I thought the same thing. I want to die for Jesus. I also had another fantasy of dying to where I think God would let me into heaven, which was a plane going down, and before it went down, I would stand
Save
up and
everyone.
start preaching. And then God would be like, oh, well, in your final moments, you were like telling people about me. So like, you're in. You're one of mine.
I would be so
yeah, I had the same thought.
bummed if I was on a plane crashing and someone started preaching. I'd say, girly, too late. Too late. Done. We're done.
Have you heard the audio? I think it was on This American Life episode where that plane had the landing gear, the front tire was turned sideways, and they were watching the news of themselves about to make an emergency landing. Do you remember it? Have you heard the audio?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely remember that This American Life episode. I've definitely listened to it.
It played the audio. These people thought they were potentially about to crash land.
Wow.
Yeah, airplane people. You know, I'm a trained person. They thought that they were about to crash land. Like they were watching themselves on the news. And of course the news was like, thank you, Dave Matthews Band, little fire dancer action. And the news was like, and here's a 3D rendering of how they'll explode potentially.
Yeah, and they're watching it
and
on the plane.
And so someone recorded just the audio of the landing. And so you can hear how are people responding.
Quiet.
Yeah. So quiet. That was eerie. That was Jesus freak as a 13-year-old eerie. Like I was like, oh, I would almost rather than be like, fuck. Like that I understand. But just the silence. Oh man.
First of all, scary. Secondly, there was on the, I don't know if this is on like the regular Jesus Freak album as well, but I did have the deluxe edition, and there was one, they had a song called Free at Last, right?
That was on the DC Talk album.
They had a song called Free at Last, but it started with audio of Martin Luther King preaching, like of the Free at Last speech. And it's echoey and it's sounds old. I just found it freaked me out. I remember being a kid and being so scared because I was like, this guy's dead. Like this guy got murdered. Also, we grew up in a house where Martin Luther King was the devil.
Well, he was called a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Like what our parents told us, and really our father more, but I mean my mom as well. But what our parents told us was that if Martin Luther King Jr. had just calmed down and hadn't come to Memphis and Alabama and all these places to stir up trouble, that eventually the blacks would have gotten rights.
Yeah.
That's what our dad said. Like it would have all fixed itself. It would have figured itself out. But he came in and was just stirring stuff up. He was a troublemaker. So in our house, it was not called Martin Luther King Jr. Day. They called it James Earl Ray Day, which is the man who shot and killed Martin
Either
Luther King
that
Jr.
or I remember whenever Martin Luther King Day, where we were out of school, would align with Mama's birthday. It would be a huge mom. I remember Mom doing this a lot, being like, now remember, today's Mama's birthday. You're out of school because of Mama's birthday. And I remember thinking that was so cool. I don't know. Anyway, well, I think because he was...
That's why if I ever meet you in person and you're African American and I just say I'm sorry, that's why. I just had that memory of my parents telling me that. And so I just...
My favorite thing too was
I'm
like...
just sorry.
Dad had such a criticism. Sorry, y'all, this is so dark. But Dad had such a criticism for Martin Luther King getting shot when he did because he was in a hotel with his mistress. And Dad was just all up in arms about him having a mistress. Come to find out, our dad was king of the mistresses. So, like, there was just... So, like, hearing his voice, I have a distinct memory of putting that CD in that gigantic stereo that played 2 CDs.
Yeah. And
I was sitting, like, in front of the window that faced out to the backyard in my room. Mm-hmm. And I'm flipping through this DC Talk book while I'm listening to Martin Luther King talking. And there's like, I don't know if I made this up in my mind or not, but in my mind, there's like violin music under his voice or something. And I'm listening to it on low because I don't want dad or mom to hear it. Yeah, I was just really freaked out. I couldn't figure out if what I was doing was okay, first of all. And secondly, we didn't talk about death outside of you go to heaven or hell. And so, like, just coming, like, it felt so intimate to hear this voice of this dead guy that I really I didn't know what death was. I had no concept of, like, why do you die? What happens to your body? You know, like, I don't know.
It waits for the resurrection.
Exactly.
Drew, that book, Jesus Freaks, there's one story that I remember from it. Is there any that has stuck in your head after all these years?
Honestly, I think my brain is protecting me from it.
To illustrate just how grotesque this book was that we loved and literally would like carry around with pride. There's a story I remember of they were waiting to be burned at the stake and they're in this dungeon, I guess, and they're looking out.
Who's they?
Watching 2 Christians
who for
some reason are being burned at the stake because they're Christians. I don't remember that part, but I remember that one of them volunteered to go first because the other one was petrified and they were praying for strength. And the one who volunteered to go first said that he believed that God would give him supernatural ability to not feel pain as he's being burned alive.
Okay.
Which is a little weird simply because, like, wasn't that, like, Jesus on the cross, like, felt all that pain, but, like, for some reason he's going to let you... good point. So he's already felt all the pain. So he said, if God gives me the ability to endure and I don't feel the pain, when the bindings burn off, I'll raise my hands and clap, like, once or something. So he's being burned alive. The bindings burn off, and the book is very detailed about what's happening to his legs and whatever. He raises his hands up, and it says that he doesn't just clap once, but he claps 5 times. And another piece of detail it gives is that while he's clapping, his fingers are falling off. What will people think if they hear the name of Jesus free? What will people do if they find that it's true?
Okay, your son just texted me during that horrible story. So I'm going
to... Is it Max?
Maxim. I'm going to tell him the story right now. Dear
Please
Max.
Don't. No, because I'm going to read it to him before he goes to bed.
He was showing me the Pedro Pascal action figure from Fantastic Four. Oh. And he said, I'm getting your best friend, Pedro Pascal. And I said, I can't help it if celebrities love me, Max. He said, well, since you're so famous with celebs, tell Pedro I'm a huge fan because, like, he's like your best friend and all. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then the next thing he said was, jokes aside, though. Jokes aside, though, the Fantastic Four was amazing. God damn it, Max. He got me.
He says stuff that he does that to me all the time. He'll go, no, but seriously, Dad. He saw Fantastic Four. I asked him about it, and he said, you know, the thing I like about it wasn't all action and fighting like a lot of Marvel movies. Instead, it really centered on a family that cared for each other, and they were there for each other, and I like that so much. You know,
so
he said,
sweet.
He said the Sue, whatever her last name, the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm.
Sylvester.
Sue Storm was such a hero because here she is pregnant and trying to hold this family together. And then she's out there being a hero too. And I love to see it. And it was like, all right, man. But the fighting was cool. And he goes, yeah, it was at the end. But Dad, again, it was centered around a family who just really cared about each other.
Oh, God. Is that, okay, two things.
Yeah.
Number one.
It's because he doesn't have a family he cares about. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Well, that was number one. Do you think he was saying that because he's like, this is kind of what I want?
Yeah.
But number two, you've got to feel...
Mom's invisible in some way to me, emotionally.
I view that as a very positive thing. Actually, I feel a lot of relief hearing that, because if you raise, and you still have two, so there it might, but if you raise a toxic male, an incel, it would be hard for me not to hurt them. And it sounds like Max, he's how old? 15? 14?
Almost 15.
He'll be 15 in September.
He'll be 15 in September.
Yeah, it sounds like he's a good kid. Like he's
He's so
straight,
sweet.
Normal guy.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of him.
He's really, really sweet. And when you get to FaceTime with him, he's 14 and he loves action figures.
Yeah,
and
he
he's
does.
just constantly posing them. And I love it. I love that little nerd.
He's such a sweetheart.
So, Drew, when I think back to DC Talk,
I forgot we were
it's
talking about
founded in
him.
1987. Do you remember when DC Talk split up? Any guess? The towers were still standing.
97.
2000. Straight up 2000.
Oh, so they
was when
were
split
barely
up.
standing. Grant, they were leaning at that
They
point.
were creaking.
They knew.
They were leaning a little bit. They knew what was coming.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams, and I've always said it.
But the CIA can. So, Drew, when I think of them, I used to think of Jesus Freak. That was like the song I used to think of. But there was a video on the internet that changed all of that for me. And I'm going to show it to you. Do you know what this is?
Boys and girls, the Lord
Can you see
Jesus
it?
Christ is the one who gives us new life, and he's doing a new thing for us.
You know he's doing it. God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it. God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it. Who's doing it? God is doing a new thing. You know he's doing it. Yo, who's doing it? God is doing a new
That's right.
thing. My God is doing a brand new thing. Since time began, he remains the same. Faithful, I ran into his word and silent. I go to stone unstirred. I look down through the ages and you will find God doesn't change, but he knows the time. From harp, piano, to song to rap, you know. God's with us, so I cannot lack it. So God is doing a new thing in our lives. So we're doing a new thing through Jesus Christ.
Okay, he needs to breathe from his diaphragm. That was so distracting. I appreciated what he was trying to do, but his technique was wrong. So.
Oh my God. Okay. I hope that kid is somewhere just living his best life. And I hope that he's still telling everybody that God's
doing a new thing.
Oh, so Michael Tate moved on from DC Talk and started doing a solo career. He had a band called Tate for about 8 years. And then in 2009, he took over the Newsboys. You remember the Newsboys?
Yeah, of course. I loved their song.
Do you
Check the papes. God is real.
You really don't remember the Newsboys?
No, I mean,
you
I
remember
do. I
their
just
song,
don't.
They don't serve breakfast in hell.
I'm sorry. What?
They had a song, and I used to sing it as a child.
They don't serve breakfast
Called
in
They
hell?
Don't Serve Breakfast in Hell. They would sing.
I don't like breakfast anyway.
The chorus was,
Grow up.
When all the toast has burned and the milk has turned and Captain Crunch is waving farewell. When the big one finds you, may this song remind you that they don't serve breakfast in hell. The Newsboys. Yeah, they were great. They also, while Michael Tate was there, they made this song, God's Not Dead, very famous, and spawned 5 hit movies about God's Not Dead.
We watched 2 of them
movies
with the not messy queens.
With Olsen.
Olsen. I was thinking Maori, and I was like, no way, Olsen.
No way. Olsen forever. What recently just happened, Drew, is this year in January,
February,
there was
March,
and then April, there were some accusations that came out about Michael Tate. And so January 15th, Azaria Southworth, he's the host of the Yes Jesus podcast.
Get it, girl.
He went on TikTok and just said, hey, I've been wanting to say this for a while. I'm just going to say it. Michael Tate is gay. He's been like publicly pushing the Trump administration's agenda, their anti-LGBTQ agenda, and he's gay himself. And so TikTok ultimately removed it, but it was too late. Like, it was out there. And so that was January 15th. January 16th, Michael Tate went on his social media and announced that he was stepping down from the Newsboys, not 24 hours later. And he said that he was living a double life and that he was going to a treatment facility in Utah for 6 weeks. So what he was talking about was alcohol and drugs. He was not admitting to being gay.
Because it's alcohol and drugs
better.
that turned him into a cockhound.
Exactly, a cockhound. But he knew something was coming out. He knew that the Roy's Report was working on a story because they've been working on it for 2 years at this point. And so I'm sure he knew that all of this was about to come out. So it finally did in June. It just happened last month. June 5th, the Roy's Report published an investigation detailing allegations of sexual assault, sourcing information from over 50 people. They'd done that investigation for 2.5 years. And the report included accounts from 3 men who claimed that Tate groomed and sexually assaulted them between 2004 and 2014.
There are sexual assault allegations in this thing.
Yeah. So multiple sexual assault allegations,
all with men,
and ultimately, so far at this point, and some of them were groomed. They were like fans, and he used his position as a Christian celebrity. So then, June 10th, Michael Tate made a public statement, which we'll look at his statement later. But basically,
wait, what day?
He called it "My Confession." June 10th.
Judy Garland's birthday.
June 5th.
Wow.
Yeah, on Judy Garland's birthday.
I knew you were telling me this for some reason. Wow.
I think he was hoping that people would be so distracted by the national holiday that is Judy Garland's.
It should be a national holiday. Then there'd be less
birthday.
gay people.
Because they'd all be in one place.
Yeah, but you get rid of them.
We could round them up and put them on the island. So
sometimes I wish you would. Sometimes I wish you would.
Just go live
it would be
on an
nice.
island. But he put this post out called "My Confession," and he admitted to having reckless and destructive behavior, including drug and alcohol abuse and sexual activity. And he admitted to using cocaine and alcohol for 2 decades, and at times touched men in an unwanted, sensual way. We'll look at some of his comments in a minute because I think it's kind of an archetype of these Christian statements from perpetrators of this stuff. But June 12th, The Guardian published an investigation. They were also investigating Michael Tate at this point, including a couple of more people who had accused him, had come forward and accused him of doing terrible things. And then in June 19th, just a few days later, there was another, from the Roy's Report, another allegation, this time involving a female crew member. And Michael Tate was present at something horrible that was done to her. And the Newsboys tour manager was claimed to have been there and covered the whole thing up and just like swept it all under the rug back in 2014.
He wasn't reporting the news, boy.
I'll tell you, he said, extra, extra, don't read about this. Probably the saddest part in all of this is that June 24th, the Newsboys announced at a concert that they've been dropped by their record label and had their music removed from radio stations and venues due to the scandal.
Is that why I don't like listening to the radio
it
anymore?
Worse.
Oh, man.
K-Love, the largest Christian radio network that my wife used to work for, announced it was putting all music by DC Talk and the Newsboys on hold. Who's telling people that God's not dead if that song isn't playing every day on K-Love?
That is
How will we know?
Has the God's Not Dead cinematic universe released a statement?
Well, I think that they're trying to relaunch it with James Gunn or something, like just get a fresh start.
Who's that?
God damn it. He made Guardians and now he made the new Superman.
Oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that.
I think you want to have sex with the new Superman.
No, he's
a very
attractive,
man.
but like I don't like woke. I'm not doing it.
There was also like a pretty big story about just statements of people who had been involved in the Christian music industry, like coming out and talking about it. Haley Williams, the lead singer of Paramore. Do you know them? They were like a Christian-ish band. Yeah, I mean, they played at like Christian festivals and stuff when they first like started, and then kind of pushed away from it. But she was talking about like the reason she walked away from the church was her relationships with gay and lesbian people, and how she was like, that should be affirmed. That's not something to be condemned. And so
okay, she's a witch. Burner.
Obviously, her response was, this is a man whose entire faith identity is built upon a faulty structure of self-hatred. And she said the contemporary Christian music industry is an industry that would rather cover up abhorrent behavior for 20 plus years and make money off of it rather than accept that being gay is not the problem. She said, I hope the CCM industry crumbles and fuck all of you who knew and didn't do a damn thing. If you're not angry too, then maybe it's time to question why. And she went on to say that the only person who offered gay affirming support, or saying that Michael Tate needed gay affirming support, was the TikToker who broke the story, who was like victimized by Michael Tate. It's interesting because definitely the church is not.
Isn't that person? Is that TikTok person? You said his podcast is called Yas for Jesus. What's it called?
Yas Jesus.
Yeah. So he's still in the church.
I don't know what the show's about. I don't know what the show's about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I can Google.
Yeah, Google.
You keep talking.
Google Yas Jesus. So, Drew, I wanted to look at a couple of the things Michael Tate said in his confession, because I think they illustrate whenever you see someone in like a big leadership role in the church, especially in the evangelical church. What are you finding out?
Wait, I'm so sorry. Yas Jesus is hosted by Azaria Southworth, but also Daniel Francesi, the gay guy from Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's a Christian one. Maybe it's a deconstruction podcast.
It says it's an interfaith and sexuality affirming comedy podcast that believes you don't have to pick between gay and God. You don't have to, but it does help.
It's easier. It's a lot cleaner to just let it all go.
Every gay event I go to, he's there.
Who?
Which one? He is at every... the Mean Girls guy.
Yeah.
He is at every fucking event I go to. He must just be so well liked. I mean, I've only talked to him like once or twice, and he's super nice. I want to be famous and popular like him.
Oh, try being nice. Michael Tate's
well, that's not my brand.
Statement.
So
a couple of things. One, he says, the accusations of my reckless and destructive behavior are sadly largely true. And it's a general admission.
That's not good.
Without specific accountability. He doesn't name any specific actions. He's just like, it was reckless, it was destructive. Now, I know some of that is legal, but also some of that is the main part of this confession is to not get you to think about what he did, but to get you to think about a redemption arc for him. Because he goes on to say, I've lived a double life. I was a broken man pretending to be whole. That's spiritual language. So now he's framing it in a way that is spiritual. So it's not a legal problem we need to talk about. Like we don't need to talk about criminal behavior or predatory behavior. This is a moral problem. This is just sin, and I'm struggling, and there's a spiritual battle here. And again, it's trying to reframe it, that this is a spiritual thing that's happening here. We don't need to talk about a legal thing. He says, I was addicted to cocaine and alcohol for over 20 years. He immediately flips, like his statement is not about support for the victims. It's not about like healing for them or their pain. He's letting you know, this is my pain. He wants sympathy. Like it centers on his pain, the emotional turmoil of the abuser, which again is shifting attention away from his victims and putting it back on him. He says, I ask for your forgiveness. I trust in God's mercy. So he puts an emphasis on God's grace and redemption. He immediately pivots to redemption. And you'll see people in the church do this because it creates this narrative arc that they're already on a path to redemption. And if you're a Christian hearing this, you're going to go, that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in. I believe in redemption for everybody. And so even as victims are still processing the harm that's been done, this narrative's already changed. It's already about redemption. Like that Michael Tate, he may have done those things, but I'm not that Michael Tate anymore. Like that Michael Tate was buried with Jesus, and now I have been raised to new life with the living Jesus. And he ends it.
Did he come out?
No. He ends it with this horrible fucking sentiment. He says, "Please pray for me and those I've hurt." So
put himself first.
He definitely put himself first. But notice what...
Hell yeah, brother.
Well, notice what he calls for his victims. What does he call for? He doesn't say, I want them to have justice. I want them to have support. I want there to be legal accountability. Instead, he says, like, just pray for them. Just pray for them. That's what they need. Because that's what I need.
God's more powerful than the courts. I've always said that.
God. Just, anyway. And I think, like, that's the script. I made mistakes. I was broken. God is healing me. Please pray. Let's move on. And you can see it over and over and over again. Anytime you see any of these stories. Did you watch the first season of, I think, what is it? Shiny Happy People? Is that what it's called?
I did.
About the Duggars? Did you see season 2 just dropped on the 23rd?
I haven't seen it yet. No. What's it about?
Choir the Fired and Teen Mania Ministries. Do you remember them?
Didn't we have their Bible? The Teen Mania Bible?
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, you'll remember them. You'll remember him. He had a Ron Luce was his name. He had a mullet, like a really big mullet. We watched videos of him in youth group
all the time.
So like it's about him and it's about that whole space. But if you watch that, or if you watch...
Are you telling me that something went wrong in a religious teen space? Well, I don't think I believe that.
If you watch that, or if you watch
I forgive him.
The Hillsong documentary on Hulu, which is also excellent and will make you sad, you'll see the same statements from the people who've done these horrible things. They will be, I made mistakes. I was broken, just like you are. God's healing me just like he heals you. So please pray for me and let's just move past all this. And so again, trying to reframe it into this spiritual thing. So there have not been other statements made by Michael Tate, and there have been no legal charges brought against him yet. So all of this is out there and nothing's been done yet. Something will, I'm certain, but nothing yet.
I want to circle back to the initial comment that I think I rolled my eyes at. I didn't roll my eyes. I just went to it. When you said that the person calling for the gay affirmation in church for him specifically is the guy that broke the news on TikTok, the Yas Jesus guy. I didn't roll my eyes. That's not the right phrase. I see his point. And especially after reading his podcast summary, it seems to be like that is part of his healing journey. And so he wants that for other queer people in church. And here's the thing. Yes. Is Michael Tate fucked up in large part because of the church? Absolutely. Would he have done these things otherwise? I don't know. But to the extreme with which he did everything and victimized other people, yeah, I think the church and what he was raised in and what he lived in played a huge role in that.
Sure.
And so from that aspect, I agree with Yas Jesus that yes, he needs affirmation. He needs like gay affirming positive affirmation.
You heard it here first.
However,
Drew believes Michael Tate needs support. He needs to be supported. He needs to be affirmed.
We all just need to like set everything aside. No, but like, yes, I agree. He does. He does need that to heal himself. However, now that there are all of these victims as a result, that does need to be dealt with first. So I think my initial reaction was like, well, why the fuck are we talking about what he needs? But I get it. Like from a queer perspective, he was a victim in some respect, but he then created victims, and that's a problem. And I say that as someone who also created victims in my own unhealthy, sorry, Grant, I know you get so excited when I talk about this, but my sex addiction, I hurt a lot of people with my actions. And was it a direct result of what I was raised in? For sure. But I still created those victims. Yeah. You know? And so that's why, like, when you go into 12-step, the atonement, I don't remember what it's called, but the step where you apologize to people as long as it doesn't, to your victims, basically, as long as it doesn't cause them any further harm. And I don't mean like, sorry, let me clarify. I never essayed anyone. No sexual assault to anyone. I just meant like I was cheating,
really
I was lying.
Our podcast was over. Sorry. I was like, well, this is it.
No.
Episode.
I had that done to me, okay, and that's where I get my sense of humor. But no, I just mean like lying and all of that shit. Anyway, in 12 step, the step where you ask for forgiveness from those you've harmed isn't until like 8 or 9 on the list, because you have to be in the right space first before you can then reach out to really atone and take full responsibility for your behavior. And it sounds like the church, with the language that he used, and that's language we've all heard before, they don't get to that self-reflection point ever. There never comes a time where they're really taking accountability and responsibility
because you don't have
for what
to.
They've done.
Jesus took care of it. So you don't,
and it's
literally
hard.
don't have to. You can just say,
and it's hard.
It's at the cross. I'm leaving it at the cross, and then you're good. Like then you're good. The documentary about Teen Mania, the Acquire the Fire events, which were just giant concerts in arenas, and then there'd be preaching. They showed this clip where he had them like screaming something like, "I want the cross," and there was this music playing, like really, emotionally manipulative music. It's just this soft. Exactly. He was saying, all of the wrong things you've done in your life. And one of the girls actually, well, she's not a girl. One of the women said that when she was there, she says, I was a 13-year-old girl. I hadn't done anything bad in my life, but I felt like I needed to confess something. I needed to need the cross like everybody else. And then everyone in a youth group has been in these moments where they're like, now just come leave it at the cross. Like, come down front, confess your sins, leave it out there. And when you walk back to your seat, it doesn't come back with you. You're not that person anymore. So why do you need to dig deeper and figure out why those destructive behaviors came out of you? Because you left it at the cross. You don't have to do that. You don't need the self-reflection.
Well, the devil made you do it.
Well, the devil made you do it. Jesus took care of it already. So you don't need to reflect on any of that. Just say you're sorry. God will cover it. Go to the cross. You're fine, right? There's no incentive in the church to do that work. Just keep saying you're sorry.
I mean, his life is fucked. What he did was fucked. And at this point, yes, he needs to go to jail for sure. But also, like, what's the redemption arc here? You go back into the closet and so you get to sing songs for teenagers again?
Yeah.
Like, that sucks. Or you come out and everyone who you thought was your friend or loved one, well, they should have already turned their back on you if you were grooming people. But like, his life is just so fucked. Michael Tate, you're fucked.
But also, Michael Tate, we are absolutely canceling your Patreon. So I know you're listening right now, and we're getting you off our books.
And you did sign up for a year. You did sign up for a year, so we are going to keep billing you.
We're gonna keep it, but you can't. You have no access to our Patreon anymore. You
sorry.
Freak. Fuck you.
Sorry.
But Drew, like, the other thing that's made me think about the different tactics that evangelicals use, especially those in power, during these scandals. And the first one is keeping abuse.
Sorry. These, like, multiple? There have been multiple sexual abuse allegations against multiple people in the church. This isn't the first time this is happening.
This is going to be a really difficult podcast for you to get through if that is... if this is all new information. So
Our
Drew,
God is an awesome God. He doesn't rape. Except in the Old Testament. Keep going. Sorry.
There's a lot of that in the Old Testament. So they keep abuse in-house. They handle abuse internally to protect the church's image and avoid scandal or legal consequences. And they use the Bible for that. In 1 Corinthians 6, they say it advises to not take fellow believers to court. And in Matthew 18, Jesus is teaching about how to handle a wrong someone has done to you. And he says, don't go talk to other people. Go talk to them directly. And if they don't listen to you, go get someone from the church to come talk to them too. And if they don't listen to you too, then take them to the church. So the church takes that and applies it to these grotesque essays. This has happened in giant churches. So Hillsong Church in Australia. So most of the modern songs that churches are singing came out of Hillsong Church. It's a global mega church founded by Brian Houston. Well, he admitted his father used to be the pastor, and his father had child essay accusations against him. He covered them up and kept the police out of it. Sovereign Grace churches, which they are fucking everywhere. If you're listening to this podcast in the United States, there is a Sovereign Grace church near you. I guarantee it. But during the 80s and the 90s, they would, again, people would come to them about these child abuse allegations, and they would go for pastoral care. And they would never get the law involved.
Like a spa. So, they'd go to the spa.
Like a spa. So it was all about keeping it in-house. Their second tactic was blaming and shaming the victims. And so the victim is at fault because of their own sin or their own impropriety, or maybe they tempted somebody. And so, Romans 3:23 says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Drew, you quote that all the time to me, and I appreciate you. And again, it's equalizing guilt. Well, okay. They did something wrong to you. What have you done? We've all done something wrong. We've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And there are some grotesque applications of this tactic. One of them was in an independent fundamentalist Baptist church, which are the really fun ones in New Hampshire. There was a 15-year-old victim of SA who became pregnant as a result of that assault. And what the church made her do was stand up in front of the church and confess her sin of becoming pregnant with a man that wasn't her husband. So she went to them and told them what happened. And then she did. She stood up and did that. And the pastor told her that she's lucky that it happened to her now and not during the Old Testament times, because she would have been stoned to death for becoming pregnant outside of wedlock.
I think they probably should have still stoned her.
Yeah, I don't believe in a hell, but God, I hope I'm wrong when it comes to these people.
Yes, the blaming the victim and in all of that is horrible. And it is a very common tactic used in church. And it was used against me by our dad. And I remember...
Sponsored by Polo.
Yeah, you want to smell like my dad? You want to make me cry? So I remember when I went to Memphis after my therapist and I had talked about it for 2 years. I went to Memphis to tell mom and dad about my essay in high school when I was a minor. And I know I've told this story before, but just not to blame them, but to take some of the responsibility so that I'm not carrying all of this,
Yeah.
Like I had an STD at 14 and they took me to a pediatrician and asked no questions at all. Who was it? I said, a girl at school. I'm not going to tell you a name. They said, okay, no more questions. Truly, I carried that with me and I blamed myself for it forever until like my mid-30s. But I remember dad crossed his arms. Mom cried. To her credit, she cried. She didn't exactly know what to do from there. Because, once the emotions start, she's not exactly sure where to go from there. But she did cry, which was nice. I'm crying. And dad crosses his arms and leans back. And I can't remember the exact how it went down. But I do remember mom finally, because I was like, and you're not saying anything. And mom was like, say something to your son, honey. Crying. And dad was like, well, I would, but it's not my fault. I didn't do it. I'm not taking responsibility. It was your fault.
Damn.
That response shocked me because my idea of who my dad was, I think, was a little more rosy than it actually than what I know now. But his response also didn't shock me because I've heard this 1,000 times with sexual assault cases in churches, how the person who did the assault is talked about for this long, for about 2 seconds. They did it. They're sorry. They're getting redeemed. But then we talk about the victim a ton. How did they get into that situation? And, why weren't they following God's word closer? You know what I mean? I wasn't surprised that I got that response from someone from that world. I was surprised it came from my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a downer.
That's horrific. It's also, but I mean, Drew, you're right. And I mean, as I was looking into all this, there's a story of that exact thing happening. It was at Southwestern Theological Seminary. Paige Patterson was the president at the time, and there was a woman there who was dating this guy. He came over to her apartment, essayed her, and she went to report him to Paige Patterson. They covered it up, and he told her that, and this is another tactic, is don't worry about justice. You need to worry about forgiveness and protect the unity of the church. So he urged her to forgive him. And then she was placed on a 2-year academic probation because she broke the rule of not having a man in her apartment.
Yeah, I agree. She was a whore.
Cool. He was later let go from the seminary, by the way, because
Why?
he kept mishandling rape allegations.
What?
What a fucking
That's
piece
crazy.
of shit. But you're right, Drew. I mean, the scripture we said earlier about from Romans 3 is used a lot in these situations, and that logic is used a lot to level the playing field and say, but we're all sinners. Like, do you remember being taught growing up that no sin was worse than another because they're all grotesque in the sight of God?
Right.
And I remember thinking, like, so I could kill and eat a baby, and that's just as bad in God's eyes.
It should be
as
worse in
me
your eyes.
lying. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know why
That's
you
the thing.
immediately
There's
went
another-
to that. That's insane.
There's another illustration of how, yeah, in a human's eyes, that would be worse. How are we better people than God is? How is our humanity better than God? How God could look at Hitler and be like, that's the same as a 7-year-old who lied to his parents about
Hitler was also 7 at one
eating
time.
a
So
baby. That's a good point.
we should have killed
He
him
wouldn't
then.
be if I had a time machine, brother. Let me tell you that right now.
Oh, I'd kill Hitler.
But finally, obviously, they try to discredit the accusers, defend the abuser, and ultimately use all the tactics everyone else uses: hush money, legal NDAs. Ted Haggard did it. If you remember everything that happened with Ted Haggard, there was
Ted Haggard, first
he
of all,
paid a kid.
he was the biggest faggot I've ever seen in my life. And before the allegations came out, I knew he was fucking dudes on the side. I just knew it. I heard his voice. I saw his
Yeah.
face. Done. But then the fact that he was like super into meth and like hired escorts, that was fun. That was a fun one to find out. Because he was hurting himself, and he was giving money to the community.
Before the escorts, he was hurting someone in his church.
God damn
who
it.
He eventually paid $179,000 to keep him quiet.
Hang on a second.
And to keep the church moving along.
179,000. I would do
Drew,
it.
you're not gonna. It's not gonna work out. But like
Grant,
Robbie
if you pay me
Zacharias, you remember him?
$179,000 right now, I will never bring up my sex addiction again.
How about I pay you $1?
Done. Thank you for negotiating, brother.
That JB bill must be really tough.
It's $2,000 at the end of the month. We have rent to pay in 3 days. Doesn't matter. God will provide.
It's not-
God provides.
It's Provide for my brother. Provide for my
Tamala Man.
brother.
That's Tamala Man.
So Ravi Zacharias, another example of. Do you remember him? Do you remember Ravi Zacharias, the apologist? He was this apologist that would always like argue with atheists as to why God was real and whatever. It doesn't matter. When he died, all these accusations came out against him from massage therapists. He
How'd
would
he
go to
die?
like massage parlors.
How'd he die?
God gave him cancer to test his faith and then killed him with it.
Grant,
but
can I say, have you ever had a happy ending massage?
no,
It's great.
Not yet.
It's great.
Oh,
It's really
so when I'm
great.
stressed.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
Where could I get
I say
one?
that as a gay man who's being massaged by an escort. So that is a different scenario than a straight man at a massage parlor. I don't know how straight guys do it effectively.
Or ethically.
What did I say?
Well-
That's what I meant to say. What did I say?
It was the same word
Oh,
in your brain, I'm
thank
sure.
God.
You said effectively.
I did? Okay, I meant
but-
ethically, which is effective in a way.
Which is effective. But when he died, all of that came out. And they wanted to protect his ministry because his ministry was very valuable. And so they had all these NDAs and all this financial pressure. Finally, one of the massage therapists came out, broke the NDA and said, fuck it, I don't care. I'm going to tell my story. And that finally broke it to the point where they started to deal with the actual victims. But before, they were just paying people off. They didn't give a fuck about the victims until the public knew. And then once the public knew, they're like, oh yeah, we're taking care of people. This story about Michael Tate, it's following all of the plays in the playbook for the Evangelical Church and all of us.
You can't police a self-policing agency. Like, religion in the United States is tax-free. There is very little oversight from anyone. And how can you...
Now they can be political.
Now they can be political openly and still not pay taxes.
Yeah.
And like, you can't shame someone who can immediately take that shame away because their sky daddy told them they could. You know what I mean? Like the public pressure and all of that only works to a certain degree. And as soon as the heat stops for that church, they're not going to keep paying victims because it won't matter anymore. They're not paying them because it's the right thing to do. They're paying them because they have to, because the eyes are on them. I don't know. I feel like we're really breaking news on this podcast that sexual misconduct in the church is really hard to take care of.
I will say I didn't want to end just by being sad. I will say that there are some hopeful points here, which is sexual misconduct reporting in the church has skyrocketed in the last several years because like younger generations of people in the church are leading that movement. There's more young people leaving the church than ever before, which is very encouraging. And they're leaving over this shit. Like, they're naming it. They're saying, like, this has to stop. And so if you remember the Me Too movement, remember you were so nervous during that time? Every time I talked to you, you're so nervous.
I didn't answer my phone for months.
But the Me Too movement led to the Church Too movement and led to Silence is Not Spiritual and people finally telling their stories. And that led to so much investigative journalism. I mean, I think a huge example of that working is them coming after the Southern Baptist Church and the Southern Baptist Convention for their mishandling of SA allegations and horrible things that have been covered up for years. And it shook up the convention and leadership changed. And so again, it's still broken. It's still fucked up, but more than ever in the history of this
now more than ever,
it's coming out and it's seeing the light of day. And I think that's a good thing. And I know you'd like to cover it up. I know you'd like it to stay in the dark more, but
yeah.
It's actually, I think it's a good thing.
I just want to be clear here, everyone.
Michael Tate,
I
baby.
am actually a victim of SA, not a perpetrator. I feel like this is just taking a turn. I just want everyone to know that it happened to me, not because of me.
Man, you're pretty defensive. You're sounding a little bit like
victims have to
Trump
be
at
in this
Epstein
situation,
files.
Grant.
We're still
That's
talking
what victims
about
have
this.
to be. That's what victims have to be in the church, Grant. We have to be defensive.
There's going to be a South Park episode about you soon and your tiny little wiener.
It was funny.
Anyway,
I liked
Drew,
that episode.
It was so good. Do you have any closing thoughts about this whole story about Michael Tate? Would you like to send your support to him? You've already you vocalized it multiple times.
I reached out privately. Don't worry. I reached out. I'm trying to make sure he's okay.
Okay, perfect.
No. I like whatever I say is just going to be like depressing and sad because I am a survivor.
Okay.
So like we've already said so much sad.
I'm a survivor.
But yeah, it sucks. It sucks, and the hope, it is a positive thing that people are starting to speak out in churches. I'd rather them just burn the churches down, but first steps, talking, sure.
Yeah. Second steps,
burning. There is now an online community. There are resources available that, sorry to be old, but that when I was going through it, there was nothing. There was no way for me to find out anything. At least now, yeah, you may be...
Except for the radio and the fireside chats from the president. He would tell us things.
Well, it depends on if there was a storm or not. The signal wouldn't come clear if there was a tornado. I'm just glad that there are more resources out there available to people.
Yeah.
Because I wish I had that. Although, I don't know, being in church you know, you're taught not to trust anything but the church, especially around sexual stuff. So I don't know that I would have even sought after it, to be quite honest. Anyway.
But I think it's important for us to talk about as much as possible when these things happen. Talk about the tactics that the church uses and talk about the script that these people use so that we don't accept it, that people don't accept it, that people don't hear Michael Tate's confession and fall for it. It's bullshit. And it's following this script. It immediately should put alarm bells in our head so that instead of us spending another minute talking about that asshole, people will start talking about his victims. Hopefully, the more this gets out there, the more people will talk about these things, and it'll be harder for the church to pull the wool over people's eyes.
And then they'll burn it down.
And if this is relating to your story at all, man, I really hope that you can find the support that you need. And just to echo Drew, it's out there. It's absolutely
it's not your
out
fault.
there. And
it's never your fault,
no,
ever.
It's not.
Ever.
It's not.
And that is, that I know that sounds so logical to everyone who haven't been through it, but it is such a difficult truth to accept.
Yeah.
I am so happy that I'm now in a place that I had the ability to work through it, that I'm now in a better place, but like I was really shaped by it. And I just don't want anyone else to take as long as I did to forgive myself, because that was not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm done. See,
Yeah.
I told you, Grant, it was going to be too sad.
It's not your fault.
Don't ask me for a closing thought.
You're loved. We love you. You're
Okay.
loved. Well, let's make the cleanest transition in all of podcasts. Hey, patrons, thanks so much for your support. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon. Whether you are Maori tier or Sprouse tier or the golden Olsen tier, wherever you find yourself, whatever tier, thank you so much. Your support means the absolute world, and we love you very, very much. And our birthday month is coming to a close, and so Drew, I want to tell you, happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. As we go, we love you so, so much. Drew, tell them you love them.
I love you.
He means it. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.